All right, Bulls and Bears back with another dose. Thank you for joining me. We got a lot to get into today. First of all, the thumbnail is not clickbait, folks. This is actually going to be part of our talk today. She wants to take your job. She wants to take your job. Is she real? Is she not? And why does she want to take your job? We're going to talk about that here in a bit. So stay tuned. But first of all, the stock market actually had a winning week for the first week in many weeks where the stock market had a winning week here. So what happened? What's going on? What's happening with the broader economy? Are we going to see a collapse? Are we going to see unaffordability get worse? Or will there be some sort of correction on the horizon? We're going to get into all that here. But let's go ahead and start right here. We have a bunch of companies out there basically warning that higher prices are coming for their products. And just to name a few here, we've got Pepsi, Procter & Gamble, and others. And we've talked about dozens, probably hundreds over the course of the past few months on this channel here that have said pretty much the same thing. But what's very interesting is we didn't see markets correct or even have much volatility when prices were going up over the past 5 years, ever since coming out of the health crisis, if you want to call it that. Right? Prices went up a lot, but we didn't see all these companies panic about that. The prices were going higher. So now, because prices are already high and now they're going even higher, then that's when you start to see the panic and the concern here, I think, is what's going on. Because historically, if you look into the past, when prices get too high, there's typically some sort of correction. Obvious example would be the housing market. Now we're not seeing any big correction. Now, home prices did come down a bit. If you look at our last video, we talked pretty in depth about the housing market, the housing bubble, all those things. But we have a couple big importers here into the United States from China. We've got Shein and Temu set to raise their prices in response to the tariffs. Now, I just looked over there. I'm kind of a big Temu shopper. The things I buy there are about half price of what they're on Amazon. So I've got a link down below if you want to get there. The prices haven't went up yet that I've seen, but it could be changing as I'm talking right now. It could be shifting over because the 25th was supposed to be the day where these companies raised their prices. And by the way, you help this channel if you use that link down below. And you also get a discount bundle. So check it out if you're interested in saving money and hopefully getting in before the prices go up. But here's what the company said in a pair of releases here earlier this month. They're announcing plans to pass along some of the burden to shoppers. Both firms set a date of April 25th. So will it be at 6 o'clock this evening? Has it already happened since I'm talking? Quote, due to recent changes in global trade rules and tariffs, our operating expenses have gone up. To keep offering the products you love without compromising our quality, we'll be making price adjustments, is what they say. So there you go. It's happening either now or very soon. It's going to be happening. So brace for that. But the big question is this the damage that's going to bring down the Titanic? Many people say the Titanic's already on the way down. Other people say Titanic's just fine. Nothing's going to happen because they're fine and they haven't seen any adverse effect. Well, it's interesting when I talk to people that seem like, or they act like there's no adverse effect to them. When you really get down into it, they're living paycheck to paycheck. It's just that so many people have grown accustomed to living paycheck to paycheck. They think that's fine, and they think that that's normal. But when you look back at previous decades, even my parents had their home paid off, our house, their house, paid off very early on a single income, right? My dad, working through the 80s and the 90s, paid it off sometime in the 90s. And I remember him telling me, yeah, we made extra payments. We paid it off early. Now you rarely see that, even with dual income households. And today, even dual income households, you're lucky even to buy a home with today's prices. And by the way, we have more people with dual incomes now than we've ever seen before. More people waiting to start families. Some people not starting families. We see the birth rates declining, of course, because of a big part of this is the cost of living and everything being so expensive here. So that's why we have to talk about the cost of living, but also investing, how to take advantage of this, right? So my gold stocks are going crazy. I went ahead and sold some of them. I think I announced last week that I sold just a small portion of my gold stocks just to kind of take some gains because you don't know what's going to happen. I do think gold's going higher, much higher, because of inflation, because of central banks buying gold, because of all the other things happening right now, just the inflation and the worry, the scare about the dollar, and these tariffs are having a negative effect on the dollar. So another reason why people are running to gold. All right, people, but moving on here. Why is this person in the thumbnail? What's the deal with her? Is she real? Is she not? Well, no, she's not real, actually. Believe it or not, this is an AI generated photo, and she was a radio DJ in Australia, and people are outraged. Australian radio station secretly used an AI host for 6 months. This is Workdays with Thigh. Broadcast for several months before listeners began questioning who is she and her identity. An Australian radio station is facing backlash for using an AI-generated host for 6 months without disclosing it. My question is, why would you care? As long as you're getting played music, or they're playing the music that you like, and you can hear what the person is saying, in this case an AI voice, you want to understand what they're saying, they're telling you what the songs are, maybe they're making a joke, maybe they're telling you the weather. As long as the information is accurate, why do people care? All right? It's independent reporting this, by the way. But the bigger picture is AI is taking jobs. Now, that's just one job, but there's going to be millions. There's probably already millions. It's going to be tens of millions, hundreds of millions of jobs being taken by AI. This is just one example here. The Workdays with Thigh show presented music for 4 hours a day from Monday through Friday. Did not mention on its website or promotional materials that it's not a real person. Quote, if your day is looking blah, let Thigh and CADA be the energy and vibe to get your mood lifted, was their talking point. No mic, no studio, just code and vibes. Anyways, this is going to be happening a lot more. It's already happening. I mean, this is just one story. I mean, we've seen AI and if we want to go further, robotics taking jobs for many, many years. But what's the big deal on this? I don't get it. Would you be offended if you were listening to a radio station and found out that the host wasn't real? I mean, if the information was accurate, they're telling you the songs, they're telling you the weather. Maybe they're a funny person, maybe not. But let me know what you think about that down in comments. And who knows, maybe there's people out there that would rather have an AI person like this, maybe even an AI significant other that you don't have to take shopping and you don't have to clean up after them or any of that stuff there. You don't have to buy them Valentine's Day gifts. You know what I'm saying? All right, folks, let's move on here. Today, Friday, April 25th, we had the closing of the week, obviously Friday, but it ended up in a 4% gain for the S&P 500. All the indices ended up in the green, actually, but most of these, including S&P 500, saw a weekly gain. And this is what we talked about before when we saw the big sell-off and then the rally the next day, then the sell-off, then the rally, right? If higher prices were the scare, then why did we see a gain this week, right? If that was the real reason why stocks sold off, right, there's not much relief in sight for the cost of living, right? The tariffs are still on, right? And every day we hear new information come out, but the big picture is tariffs are still on. So why are investors in the investing community so confident now to push the market back up? Well, that's because, folks, there's a lot of people don't realize that it's not actual real investors buying these stocks, folks. There is a big unseen force that moves these markets, and it's computerized. It's a click of a mouse, folks. We've talked about it here many times. I think all of you know what it is. We've talked about it here many times. These markets are not organic. These markets are not free markets and all that here. But product shortages is back in the news again. We talked a few days ago about warnings that came out that said there's going to be empty shelves. And I said here, I don't think there's going to be empty shelves except for maybe a few items here and there. But on a widespread level, I do not think there's going to be empty shelves. But here's just more things that they're putting out there. I'll bring this up here. Product shortages and empty store shelves loom with falling shipments from China. Businesses have been canceling orders for products Do you believe this or not? Is this just fear articles here? Canceling products after this 140 something percent tariff on most imports out of China, risking product shortages for American consumers. But these headlines are very dramatic. Empty shelves. What was the one we talked about? The prepare for empty shelves, right? And a lot of people sometimes, I don't know about a lot, a few people see the thumbnails of the topics that I'm going to cover, and they think that's me making up these things, right? I'm just saying these things to get attention or to make it seem like something crazy is going to happen. Folks, I'm just covering information that's out there. Sure, I'll give you my opinion. I'll tell you about what happened locally here to me or directly to me. But a lot of times it's just me covering what's in the news and what people are talking about. And it's being put out there that there's going to be empty shelves. Let me know. Is it real? Is it going to happen? Or is this a nothing burger, right? Again, you ask people if the Titanic's going down. Some people, the Titanic being the USA, the United States, some people say no. Other people say, yeah, there's no place to go but down because all of this is unsustainable. Other people say nothing ever is going to happen, even though that's been proven wrong every day because we cover things every day that's happening. Debt's getting worse. Delinquencies are getting worse. The amount that people need to get by because of inflation and the high cost of living is getting much, much higher and worse. You can call it worse. So things are changing, just not dramatic enough to catch some people's attention. So it's kind of like the frog in the pot thing where things happen slowly. The temperature heats up slowly over time and no one really notices until they're boiling. And that's most U.S. consumers right now. They're boiling. They just don't know it. They think that living paycheck to paycheck is how it's supposed to be, that that's normal, that that's okay. And maybe it is okay. If you've accepted it and you're fine and you're happy going to the basketball games and sporting events, going to concerts, buying your Starbucks, then maybe you are happy and there is nothing to see here, right? This is a nothing burger. But to a lot of people, living paycheck to paycheck is not a story of success. You know what I mean? All right, but I should add in here, there are pockets of relief in sight. Here's a recent data point out of Denver, Colorado. Rents are actually coming down pretty significantly there in Denver. Vacancies hit a 15-year high and rents are dropping in the Colorado city. After years of landlords having the upper hand, Denver Metro has become a renter's market. Denver County's median rent is down 5%, and Metro rents are down 3.6% compared to this time last year. Denver Metro's median rent for two-bedroom apartments is $1,659, and that's the lowest it's been since 2023. So there you go. Now, a 5% decrease and a 5% change in rents or anything for that matter is not life-changing, but it can be a sign of things to come. Why are rents dropping now in Denver? And they're actually dropping nationally, right? Some cities not as much as Denver, but rents are dropping nationally. Rents are dropping nationally also here. I like to go to apartment list for rent data here. Before we move on here, let's just touch on this real quick with rents. We saw the peak there at about $1,450, and this is nationwide here, and we're down to about $1,384 as of March. So a bit of a correction, but nowhere near getting back. If you're looking at this chart, nowhere near getting back to where we were before 2020. Of course, 2020, everything went crazy, especially starting in 2021. But yeah, significantly higher than what we were back then. Will we ever get back to any sort of normalcy? And even back then, people thought prices were high. Even before 2020, people thought rents were high, and that's why, a lot of people were struggling, both rents and the cost of homes. And now people are struggling even more and just taking on more debt just to get by, right? All right, people, let's shift gears a little bit here. Let's talk about a company that's really seeing a lot of people leave. It's almost like cable TV, people dropping out. This is Verizon, folks. I don't know why that's over here like that. Verizon actually lost another nearly 300,000 customers recently here. Their first quarter 2025 results revealed they lost about 290,000 subscribers, its biggest drop in many, many years. The brand is making changes like introducing a new 3-year price lock guarantee. Verizon also highlighting it will not cover price changes on equipment due to tariffs, but people are dropping out of Verizon like they're dropping cable. So there's a lot of low-cost providers out there like Cricket. I think it's $30 a month, and so many other ones I can't even keep track of. It's like $25 or $30 a month for unlimited data. So these companies that are charging too much, they're gonna get people are gonna drop them, right? Just like cable got too expensive. A lot of people dropping cable. So when will it get like that for some other things that cost too much, right? We need more alternatives, and therefore there's all this talk about manufacturing coming back to the U.S. Things get made cheaper. You'll have more options, more low-cost options. I don't see it happening, folks, but we're going to keep an eye on it, folks. We're going to let you know every day if we can how this is going and what's happening. So please let me know what you think down in comments about the AI taking jobs, the AI DJ. Would you care if your DJ was a fake voice, AI generated? If they're playing your music, who cares, right? Let me know down in the comments. Either way, one more thing. What was the other story we talked about here? Rents dropping, and is the Titanic on its way down? Anyways, let me know it down in the comments. Bye. See you later. She says bye too. She says see you later. Keep stacking, everybody. Peace.